My family and I just got back from an awesome trip to Maui, and we made a short family travel film that's linked below if you haven't watched it yet. Pretty proud of it, so go and watch it after this video. But in this video, we're gonna be talking about what I packed in my camera bag, why I brought what I brought, and how I went about shooting video. And to put things into context, this was a family vacation. It wasn't a trip I went on with some other filmmakers to solely get footage for an awesome travel film. No, I was traveling with my wife, 2 young kids, one that is 16 months old and one that's almost 4. And anyone who's traveled with kids that young know that it's not easy. And when you're trying to get quality video footage, enough footage to make a really good travel film, you're gonna have to use the right gear, and you're gonna have to go into it knowing the shots that you can actually realistically get. And so I packed my camera bag with all of that in mind. So to start with the actual camera bag that I use, this is the Incase DSLR Pro Pack, which I've had for almost 5 years, and I absolutely love it. The first thing that drew me to this bag was obviously the look of it, the style, the design, and just how big it was actually. It's not too big and it's not too small. It fits the perfect amount for a travel bag and an everyday carry bag. It's really minimal, it's all black, and it's got a really nice shape to it. These pockets in the front don't look like much, but it's really deep, really big. You can surprisingly fit a lot of stuff in here. And up top too, you got this other zipper to quickly grab your main camera. One of the great things about this camera bag is that the main compartment opens up on the back instead of the front. And so when you're on the go, you can place this on the ground like this, open it up, and then when you put it back on, you're not gonna have to worry about getting dirty or anything like that. So the first thing I'm gonna show you in here is the one and only camera that I brought on this trip. Didn't need more than one, only needed one, and it's the Sony a7S III with the Tamron 28-75 attached to it. And if you guys have watched this channel, you guys already know I'm a Sony fanboy. I use the a7S IIIs for all of my client work, use it on corporate gigs, use it on real estate, use it for YouTube. And when it comes to on-the-go travel videos, it's such a small size that it's perfect to bring around. And at the same time, it packs a huge punch in image quality. I mean, it's got great dynamic range. It's got great color science. It can shoot 4K up to 120. It's got pretty decent battery life. And the lens ecosystem is awesome on it. And even if you want to take photos with it, it's an awesome photo camera. I've used it for plenty of photo shoots. And so it's really an all-in-one camera. And then the reason I have the Tamron 28-75 attached to it all the time is because this is your standard mid-range zoom with a pretty low constant aperture of 2.8. And why that's awesome is because you can get all the wide establishing shots that you need with 28, and then you can go all the way to 75 to get those semi-telephoto lens. And so you have a great range that you're gonna be able to change up your shots, get different compositions, and change the feel of your videos with all the different types of shots that you can get. And another awesome pro of the Tamron 20-75 is that it's a lot smaller than a lot of the other mid-range zooms that you're gonna get for the Sony ecosystem. Like the other lenses like the Sigma 24-70 or the G Master 24-70 are a lot larger than this. And so you're just making your setup bulkier if you have a bigger lens. And on the front of the lens, I always had my circular polarizer with a Tiffin Black Pro Mist 1/8 filter stacked on top of that. And I never took it off. Circular polarizer is so that I can cut the reflections on the water and get deeper blue skies and deeper greens in all the trees and plants and things like that. And then the Black Pro Mist filter is there to cut some of that sharpness, give it more of that filmic look that I like to have in my videos. And for audio, I brought along the Deity D4 Mini, which is the $50 microphone that sounds great for the price. Now, I usually use the Deity VMic D3 Pro for all of my client work, for scratch audio, or for talking head like this. But this is just a lot smaller, a lot easier to pack. If it gets damaged, it's $50 versus $150. And I wasn't taking any voiceovers. I wasn't really trying to get any vlog audio or anything like that. It was really just for the ambient noise for where I was at. So this was perfect for that. Before I get to the rest of the compartments inside of here, I'm gonna talk about stabilization. So I wasn't gonna bring along a gimbal. That's way too much work to try and set up. It's gonna slow me down, and it's really bulky. And I wasn't gonna rig out this camera because that would just be ridiculous. So the first thing I'm gonna talk about is, I packed it in the front. It's this cheap $30 camera strap. And then just slung it over everywhere I went, almost everywhere I went. I just had it on my shoulder like this. So there's two main advantages of having a camera strap. The first of which is that we have 2 young kids that we have to chase around the beach and around town. And so I need both hands. And so this allows me to be hands-free and to do whatever I need to take care of the boys. And the second reason is that it actually provides a little bit of stabilization. So when you're just shooting with your hands only points of contact that you have are your 2 hands and maybe your elbows in. But when you have the camera strap, you can extend it like this and you have a little bit more stabilization because now you have this extra point of contact. So I can actually take this exact setup right here, throw it in the diaper bag, and it probably would have been enough to make a pretty good video. But I have this awesome camera bag with a ton more space in it, and if I have more space to bring more gear to make an even better video, I'm gonna do that. But before I get to the rest of the gear that's in this main compartment, I'm gonna talk about the other piece of gear that I use for stabilization. And it's this $70 Neewer tripod with the ball head. And if you watch any of my other videos, I recommend this tripod all the time because it's such a versatile piece of gear that's not that expensive. First of all, it's really lightweight. It can extend pretty tall, I believe, to 7 feet or more. And it's really reliable. It's held up for 5 years. I've used it on tons of client work and tons of other shoots. The ball head makes it really easy to get level shots. And it's pretty sturdy. And what's awesome about this camera bag too is it has these straps here on the side where I can insert the tripod and I can bring it along with me on shoots and easily take it out and use it. And I knew that I needed to bring along a tripod because I wanted to get time lapses, I wanted to get shots where I'm in the video too, and I also wanted to get some family photos. And the other big reason why I knew I needed to bring along this tripod is because I needed it to be able to use my other lens, which is the Tamron 70-180 telephoto lens. When it comes to telephoto lenses, it's gonna be really difficult to use it handheld, and so you almost have to use something like a tripod or else everything's just gonna be really shaky and unusable. So what's awesome about this lens as well compared to other telephoto lenses is that it is a lot smaller, and so it's a lot more lightweight. It's easy to pack, you're gonna have a lot more room for other stuff. It also has the same filter thread size as the Tamron 20-75. And so when I switch out the lenses, I just take off the polarizer and the Black Pro Mist 1/8 and stick it on here. And this was really crucial in getting the time lapses that I took, a lot of the detail shots of mountain ranges and waves and water that I couldn't get with the 20-75. And I actually did bring along a third lens, which was the Viltrox 24mm 1.8. This isn't it, this is the 35 because I'm actually using the 24mm right now. I brought it along because I wanted to have a wider angle lens in case I needed it, but I didn't use it at all. And I really regret bringing that extra piece of gear that I just added more weight. And then on the other side of this first half, I just have a case with batteries, cables, and charging equipment. Next to it, got the memory card case. Another thing I forgot to mention about the A7S III that's awesome is it has dual card slots, which means that I could put 2 cards in it and have it record the same thing. And so if one of the cards fails, I have the other card to back it up and make sure that I got that footage. But what I did is I brought along 6 memory cards. I would have 2 in here at all times. And at the end of the day, whatever footage I shot from that day, I would upload it into my laptop. And then I would just fill up that card. And when it was filled up, I would switch it out with 2 other cards. I wouldn't format those cards. And so I made sure I had enough space and a lot of redundancy. So I'd have it on 2 cards and then I'd have it on the laptop. So I don't have to worry about missing, having any footage corrupted or losing any footage. And on the bottom half of this camera bag is all the drone equipment. So the drone, the controller, and the drone batteries. And the drone that I have is the original Mavic Pro Platinum. And so when it comes to image quality, it's not gonna stack up with today's drones like the Mavic 3 Pro or even the Mavic Air 2. but it still has a really good image quality. It can shoot up to 4K 30 frames per second. And if you dial in the exposure correctly, you're gonna be able to get a really nice looking image. Now, what I really appreciate about this drone is the reliability. So I used to use a Mavic Air, the original Mavic Air, and that thing had the worst connectivity issues. If I flew it up anywhere between 100 and 200 feet, it would already start to lose connection and start to wig out. And it didn't have a long battery life. And so it was really hard to get quality shots. I had a really short time frame. But with this thing, I never have to worry about losing connection. I always get a clear image on my phone when I'm flying it. And the battery life is about 30 minutes on a full charge. And I had 3 of them, so I didn't have to worry about battery. And the other thing is that it's built like a tank, and so it handles wind really nicely. I was shooting at the beach a lot and on mountainside where it was really windy, and the Mavic Air would have been tossed around like a rag doll, but this thing really held up and I didn't have to worry about it. And I'm really proud of all the shots that I got with this drone. All right, so that's everything that I brought in my camera bag to Maui. As you can see, everything was pretty lightweight, pretty minimal. I only brought what I really needed, with the exception of that 24mm. And I was able to make something that I'm pretty proud of. So if you haven't had the chance to watch our travel film, go ahead and watch it. It's linked below. Thank you guys for watching this video, and I'll catch you on the next one.